What's that on that beat? Oh.
I put the new Ford
Track.
Hey, welcome back. This is our new segment that we're running here at the Breaking.Bread.Podcast called Chat Time of the Month. This is something that we've all spoken about for a little while of getting together once a month and speaking on topics that we've put up or that we've received actually from you guys as followers and listeners. And today we're going to chat about a couple of topics that have been sent through by a couple of yous. Again, this is only our point of view and this is only our opinion. So again, what we say is not final or whatever. The main thing for us is it's just a safe space for us to express our point of views, our opinions on topics that people have sent through. So firstly, we'll just get into why we got into doing this segment. Like, what's our reasons why we got into doing this segment, eh? I'll start off with you, Vito.
I think, like, obviously, like you said just then, like, was to give our point of views on topics that obviously people sent in, give our point of views and give our opinions. Obviously, our opinions and point of views aren't going to be the same as everyone else's. But then again, like you said, it's just a safe space for us to talk about it. Who knows, someone watching might have the same opinion or same perspective that we have. But yeah, obviously we'll just... well, to be honest, our man's podcast was so good we had to bring him back again. Man's was so good we had to bring him in for another segment. He got his own segment. So, just obviously just to give our own perspective on things, and the topics that we get are going to be very different. Could be happy, sad ones. Talking about a whole lot of different things. So
Controversial too.
Mm.
Yeah. So free.
I've got two. The first one is just investing actually in you two, getting to know you guys deeper. Investing in our friendship, which we touched on the podcast. I really, really value, really invested in both of your guys' well-being, including my own. And I think when men come together, irrespective of if it's formal or informal, I think just magic things can happen.
Yes.
That's cool. Probably we spend a lot of time with each other, don't we? So just another excuse to get together. And then the second reason, which is a little bit more personal, is just a space to be a bit more myself, a space to be incorrect, a space to be checked on some of the opinions or biases that I might have that do need to be checked, that I don't know, I'm not aware of, So having two boys that I'm close to, that I trust and that whose opinions I value, being able to be in this environment is only a good thing in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me the name speaks for itself. Chat Time of the Month. If you really think about what Chat Time of the Month means, it refers to a lot of things. So for us, I guess, especially myself, I wanted to have like a monthly catch up where we can obviously speak on topics and just anything really, and just give our own opinions, whether we agree, whether we disagree, whether we go in with the punches or whether we decide to put our guards up and start talking. So this was obviously in the works for a little while. We've been waiting for some time. Our weekends have been a little bit busy.
Too much partying, too much benders. Shit.
Yeah, so it's cool that we can get this segment underway and obviously create a safe space. And looking forward to the future. Hopefully we can get more people on where we can get other women, other men, people that are not in our circle that, again, they feel comfortable coming on and giving their opinion and not feeling like that we're going to criticize them. But we'll move it along and get on to our first question, our topic. It was sent in as well via IG. So
our first question sent in by, should we name them?
Does he want credit? Maybe they want credit.
Yeah, we want credit. Give him a little shout out. Swane Hufanga. Swing dog.
Amen.
Swain text written, pressures on young poly boys to make it in rugby or rugby league at a young age, or maybe just in any sport really. We could go in. So, do you want to go first?
I'll start us off.
Yep.
Yeah, for me personally, I think because But that's a real subject that's pretty close to, I think, us three as people who play sports, especially being Pacific Islander or Māori. We know that our people, Pacific Islanders, Māoris, we're real talented. I think we thrive a lot on our sporting abilities. I think, with the pressures, especially for me growing up, I found that a lot of kids dealt with pressure differently because of where they come from, like their background. If they're really, 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 really good, I think a lot of families really bank on them making it to make a living, to be able to provide for the whole family in general. And it dependent on the household itself. If the household's not obviously the richest household, I guess they sort of invest a lot more into their kids being successful, especially on the sporting field, because I think that's where most of us Pacific Islanders and Māoris really thrive, really enjoy. So there's a lot of pressures.
Did you feel pressure growing up, like when you were playing?
To be honest, I didn't get pressured into do anything.
Yeah.
My mother and father never pressured me to play any sports. I think I was just more pressured myself because my family's a bit of a rugby league family on both sides. So I think for me it was just more, I was destined to do it, like just fell into it, and just being surrounded by all my uncles, cousins, and everything was all sports. So I love sports from the very get-go.
Yeah.
Like I'm massive on sports now. I'll do anything and everything. I'll try any sports just to get out of the house. It's a lot different to kids now.
Yeah.
Kids these days are more iPads and technology based, but back then we just played any sport just so we're not home. So for me, I had no pressures on making it. I had no pressures on having to provide for my family. But I've come along across a lot of kids that their parents did pressure them. Or if not pressure them, like where you could see it, I knew like that the kid came to sports with a lot of pressure on their shoulders. So for me that's a massive topic. I don't know.
How do you think, like, some ways, like say kids are listening, how do you think if they're feeling so much pressure like from their parents, how can they, I guess, maybe say to their parents, I feel like you're pressuring me too much? Or how do you think of some ways they can not feel pressure?
I think, and I see it in a lot of parents now. I think heaps of parents try to put their kids into too many sports. Like, you know, like they want their intentions are good, but they got to remember, like, their kid, like, you can't live your dream for your kid. Like, as sometimes it's hard for parents to understand it, because you know as a parent, or you know as an adult, like, you know, like, what it takes for someone to make it. But again, you could be the best, but it's by opportunity. Like, not always the best players get picked up. You know, sometimes our scouts come to watch someone and then someone else ends up killing it and they end up getting picked up. You know what I mean? So my thing is, it's always not the best player ever gets picked up. It's always it's skill and what's the skill and work ethic. They all add up, but again, it's the right place at the right time. So for me, I find a lot of parents put a lot of pressure on their kids because they've been through that path, and they know what works, what doesn't, what it takes. So they put a lot of pressure on, and they're trying to put all like their kids into so many sports, but they got to realize, like, man, our kids, like us, like if you put us into heaps of stuff, we're gonna get drained. You know. So I feel like for any parents and that are out there, if you feel like you're putting your kids into a lot of sports without, I guess, the right training, the right rest, they're gonna wear themselves out when they get into thing. So that's for me. I feel like it comes down to our parents, to be honest. Parents and their kids. What about you?
Yeah, this is a topic I'm really interested in, because similarly to you, whilst my parents were similar to yours in the way that they didn't pressure me to be specifically like an athlete or like a crack it in music or, you know, crack it in dance. But I've definitely felt pressure and seen a lot of family members and friends put pressure on kids, and also talk to other people who have felt pressure from their parents when they're kind of reflecting. And for me, it's a tough one because I understand specifically in the Pacifica way of life, the collective is the most important thing. And I think success equates to provision. And so, you know, if parents are getting on and getting into later stages of life, I think it's the mindset switches to how is our family going to be safe and how is our family going to move forward and be enhanced. And so I specifically have a lot of empathy for older siblings because I think pressure is placed sometimes more harshly on them because they're the next ones in line.
Yeah.
And that's something that I always think about. Like one of my privileges is that like I'm the second oldest, but I'm the youngest male.
Yeah.
So I'm not always looked to speak on behalf of the family or like to pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I feel about it. I kind of going into what you were saying about what was the question? Was it like advice or was it more like what
The
pressures? The pressures. I just think that what should be encouraged is I'm aware that life isn't simple. Resources are limited. And sometimes when Pacifica families or families don't have a lot of money and they put a kid in sports and it costs money, of course they're going to be like, okay, we need you to not muck around. Because if this money goes to waste, you know, it takes away from all of our well-being. So I understand that dynamic, but I think stripping it down and putting it simply is I think there needs to be a lot more focus on how is this young person developing as a person? Is this person's thoughts their own, or is it a life that someone else wants them to live? And in my humble opinion, that's the definition of slavery. Is living a life that isn't yours and living a life that's steered and directed by someone else. And sometimes that can be hard when you're at the whim of your parents. Maybe not the whim, but you know, when you're living at home and you have to obey, and you know, and your parents are providing for you, it can be hard to focus on your own development because you just need to do what they say at the end of the day in most situations.
It's like a double-edged sword. Like you want the best for your children, so you're gonna, like, if any cost or anything come up, like you're gonna pay. But you also want your child to be, what's the word? Like, if you're paying for it, like you want them to take it serious. You know, not take advantage of that, because again, like you speak about, like just the cost of living in New Zealand, it's not the cheapest place to live. So
definitely not.
Like you said, with parents putting in, like the kid got to understand as well, like we're paying for you to play, so like it's not for you just to go there and kick stones around and pick up grass and that sort of carry on. So I think it's a bit of a tricky situation, and it all comes down to individual situations, and again it comes down to, I think, what's best for the kid. What about you?
What do you think are some ways that, like what I asked them, what do you think are some ways, you know, I guess kids can ask
tell their parents.
Tell their parents, I'm feeling too much pressure, or how do you think parents can like sit back and have a look and be like, oh, I'm putting too much, not like I'm just putting too much pressure on my kid. What do you think are some ways?
This one's a hard one for me, because man, I saw my father work so hard, like to the point where, like, do you remember when you used to get like holes in your school shoes and that?
Yeah.
Like my father used to like stay up till 3-4 a.m. just to like manually fix them, watching YouTube videos of how to do that stuff. So when I used to think about, does my father even have the energy and the time to like hear about some of the things that I am going through or feeling? I used to kind of place it on myself like he has more important things to do. So I think for kids or for young people, it can be hard because it really depends on the perspective, their role in their family, and a lot of things. And I don't always, especially in the Pacifica way of life, you don't always have the freedom to speak up or talk to authority because it's not your place. So I think it might not be practical advice, but I think a lot of that just comes with a tiny bit of courage. And also what's really hard for kids is that they often, you can have a bad experience and your underdeveloped mind, or a mind that's still maturing, will record a memory far more traumatically than it might actually be as an adult. And so I think that the important thing is, if you do have the courage to be able to tell your parents that, and you don't get a great reception, I think it's just being able to go, hey, my parents aren't necessarily rejecting me in a way. It's just, it's either not a good time or I need to find a different way to connect the dots. So it's, this one's a harsh topic. I feel like my answer to your question is I don't know. But if I had to have a random guess, or if I could go back and do things differently, for me it would be to be a tiny bit more courageous and not to take things so personal to the point where I was believing that what I had on my plate wasn't important enough to take to my family.
Do you think it could come down to the parents too, creating a safer space? Again, like for the kids to speak up, like just parents like saying like, you know, is this what you want to do? I don't know, like creating a space for like that kid so that the kid feels like they can speak up, but also maybe just speaking of the importance of them, like in what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like if the kids understood like what it takes for the parents to provide for them to play, it could be like a little reminder to these kids that, you know, money just doesn't grow on trees. What we're always told, you know, and all of that stuff. What about yourself or pressures? Like, were you ever pressured, or what's your thoughts?
Like for me personally, I was never pressured into, I think I put pressure on myself to make it. Because like growing up, even like going through school, I had a job at 11, 12 to help pay for like school trips.
What did you do for work?
With the paper run. Hey, delivering mail, sometimes throwing it in the bin, saying I was delivering it.
Hey, I know, I got a cousin of mine, I'll name him Marlo.
But honestly, it was the fucking worst job ever, bro. But like, it was a way of bringing in money, and like, it used to help pay for the trips, used to give me spending money to go away. But personally, like, I never had pressures of making it or doing all that. I guess being from where I'm from in Kaitaia, I would say none of the kids are pressured because up north we're so limited in resources.
Pretty simple life.
Yeah, it's a simple life, and like you get the old one or two maybe parents that, you know, and their kids gunners, you know, and then they might get a bit of pressure. But like where I'm from is there's no real pressure on kids because we're so limited in resources. Whereas when you come down here, I only seen pressures when I came down here. And then you see it all. Like when I was at Warriors, because before us training was the academy. And you can see why boys feel pressure. It's because like when we're all coming to training, you get their parents or dads come straight from work, sit there till 8 o'clock at night, waiting for them, drop them home, and then you can see why there's so much pressure on them. And I've seen boys like have so much pressure on them to the point where they don't make it, and then they just lose themselves because of and you can understand why boys put pressure on themselves, like obviously background, wanting to provide, but I think for us as like poly boys or Pacific Island Baldy, whatever, is we see our parents struggle, and we see like this is the only way, or it's taught to us, or I feel it's taught to us that league is or sports is the only way we can make it in life. Because if you don't play a league, you got to go be a tradie. Like that's I guess what would you call it, a stereotype?
Stereotype.
Like in that way, and like even me and you remember when we seen one of our young boys playing in our Rizzi's team when they played Richmond, he threw an intercept pass, and he was running back and straight away looked at his old man, and his old man's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like that really hit. I was like, "Bro, like, come on, man! Like, if he's feeling that in a game, and he's looking over to you on the and you're on the side of the field, like that's how you know you're feeling pressure from." And like, there's probably already enough pressure, like just making teams and stuff like that on kids, to where if he's got to come home and feel more pressure.
Damn, I felt that one. I wasn't even there, and I felt that one.
I feel like that's doing something to a kid, or that's putting so much pressure on the kid. But
you know, the environment. Sometimes, like when you go into a system, you can speak on it too, as coming from a system for rugby and league. like sometimes when you go into a system, the system can be so intense.
Yeah.
Like, I found that like when I didn't feel that so much in 20s, but I found it when playing cup.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you park your car in that car park, like you gotta flick that switch straight away.
Right.
Exactly.
Like you're walking down towards the gym, and in your head it's just like, well, you have worked the whole day, or some people come from school, whatever. You've done a whole day of whatever life. Then as soon as you get into that car park, you got to flick that switch. And then sometimes you got like no energy, whatever, but just the pressures and the intensity of the environment of making it can be a massive, can be a massive pressure cooker, and just it's going to explode. What's something like from rugby and league, like, because you've been in both environments, like, is there any difference to the pressures of making it, or the pressures that you see boys go through?
The one that like stands out straight away is, I feel like there's a mindset around cracking it, a difference in that area. If you go on the numbers, the conversion rate from like academies, or like, we don't really have, I think they might have an under-20s comp for Super Rugby now, but back in my days it wasn't like, but their conversion rate for Union was way higher than NRL.
Yeah.
So I think the mindset was, you had to be really special to have, and league that is, you had to be really special to be able to flick the switch and still believe you could crack it, considering the conversion rate was so low to NRL, for example. One thing that I will say is that I've noticed is, I feel like there is, at the end of the day, it's a business, which we've talked about before. But I will say, in my experience, there's a lot more support, specifically around well-being, and from other boys in rugby league has been my experience. Like an example of that is, and part of this is my own fault as well, so I want to take responsibility. But in my first year out of school, in academy, I had both my grandparents die within like a month of each other. So at the time I was going through it, didn't really know how to communicate what kind of help they needed. What I really needed was like a month off training, obviously, but I was putting pressure on myself and seeing all the boys in the environment. Like, I need to somehow go to the funeral, be strong for my parents, do that, and then still make all these 2-3 trainings a day. That really got to me. Even to this day, I think this is the first time I'm actually talking about that.
Yeah.
And that was however long it was, this is 2016. So I would say that my experience in league, we have a lot more support, but the pressure to crack it, and then the aftermath of the consequences of what happens when kind of life throws curveballs at you, I think that's where the gap is. That's where the gap is.
I think like the rugby and league, I guess, scheme of like cracking it is like so different, like, to each other, because if you got like, say you're trying to crack it in league, right? You get kids come out of school, and if they don't say sign with an NRL club and like play SG ball or stuff like that,
Be an assistant.
yeah, they're just playing club. Whereas in rugby, kids go from like to actually crack it, they go from province, and then like say academy, and then super rugby, but then again they still have to play club rugby, and then they go from academy and then higher honours, whatever. I think there's so much I guess more how would you say it? There's so much more I guess teams to make before you actually crack it in rugby, whereas to league you have to go from if you don't get signed with a club,
Just grassroots.
grassroots, and then try.
I think like when you talk about rugby and league, like there's a lot more people that are older that are cracking it in rugby. You know? League has a small window, but it's also, the window's gone younger. Like you don't see many like 27, 28-year-olds debuting in the NRL. You see more like early 20s, like 18, 19s, year olds cracking it. In rugby, you see what, like 23 plus, more that range cracking it. And again, when you talk about the conversion rate, I think when I done what is it, the youth camp? For 20s, what is it called? Is it the rookie camp?
Rookie camp.
They said in the whole room there will be less than one. So like the conversion rate, is real small in
it's
the
like
NRL.
5%. 5% of your team will go on to higher honours.
Especially in this country, we only got one team.
Yeah.
But if you look at Super Rugby, we got 5 clubs, right? Is there 5?
That's what I was thinking about.
Four. Oh yeah, 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about as well. Like when you started talking about the differences as well. Like for here, there are opportunities to cricket at a semi-professional level and a professional level. But if you're not the Warriors covering all of New Zealand, that's an interesting situation. So if boys do want to cricket, they literally have to move to Australia, which is another dynamic where specifically for young men who have lived at home most of their life.
Well, that's even another pressure. It's like you get young kids moving overseas, and then the pressure of trying to make it, and they get homesick and all that stuff, and then I want to come home. It's too hard, too much pressure.
Well, you can speak on that from personal experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, like how was it for you? Like, let's speak on like did you feel any pressure going? Because you've gone twice.
Yeah. I put more pressure on myself.
Yeah. So that's just personal pressure.
It's just personal pressure. Like, if I don't crack it, well, league's only, I've based my whole life around league.
Yeah.
And league's the only thing I've ever known to crack it. Like, because that's all that we've ever taught.
Yeah.
As if you don't crack it in rugby, you ain't going to crack it in life.
Yeah.
Whereas I've invested myself all into league, and I haven't, like, going over, I'm like, bro, if I don't do good here, or if I don't crack it, then fuck, I'm just going to go home. And there was, like, I think I put too much pressure on myself to crack it, I guess, in that, like, small amount of time.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, it takes time.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Like, you have to have a good couple of seasons at, say, cup to, I guess, go on to
really
an
like
NRL.
create a portfolio for yourself.
Yeah.
What about you? You know, when you moved away, so obviously Otago is not home.
For me, bro, I found it real challenging. Grew up in my parents are both pastors, so despite having gang affiliated families and stuff like that, I was relatively protected growing up because we had, I guess, the veil of faith in church. So when I moved away, even though I moved out of home real young, which I've talked about, and I had some, faced some challenges there, I think when I moved away, I wasn't ready for what came with professional contracts. And what I mean by that is, let's get real honest here. When I look at athletes, and specifically male athletes, and where they've gone wrong or challenges they've faced, maybe not specifically the pressure, but you've got like the women, alcohol, money, temptation, gambling, like all of these things that I was kind of relatively protected from in the church. I placed a lot of pressure on myself, but didn't have a game plan, didn't have any, I had worldly experience with drugs and alcohol when I was on the street, but women and like all that other stuff, and like starting to tie my value as a person to how many people recognize me in the supermarket. Like, I wasn't ready for all of that stuff. So when I moved to Dunedin, I think I really struggled with that stuff. And similar to Brody, I think putting pressure on yourself is something that has to be checked. But I wasn't good at letting people in to that degree. So I feel like my experience is what I can share about that is relatively limited, but I stuffed up and I didn't deal well with the pressure, which I've talked about.
You know what? Another thing that I've come to that I've seen a lot of Pacific Island Māori families struggle with is contracts. Not understanding the contracts. Because we all know there's a top 25, which is an NRL. Then you get like top 30. Then you get like a contract to play SG ball, Jersey flag. You get all these different contracts, train and trial contracts. So I think like what I've found and seen a lot of Pacific Islander Māori people is they've struggled to understand what actually is a contract. And most people that maybe like our families that have come straight from the islands, they don't understand like what's in the contract. And they see that their kid has signed the contract to an NRL club or a Super Rugby club, and they see the logo. They see their kid coming home. They see their kid wearing all the gears, like all of this and that. And then now they've gone on to think, oh, my son has
made it.
Made it. Yeah. They see him on TV, and it could be that's why I think they stopped the 20s grade. Yeah, it was because a lot of families were putting pressures on their kids because they saw them on TV all the time, wearing all the gears, going to training, going to all these going to hotels, staying in hotels on Oz, playing at all these top stadiums
and stuff,
and thinking, oh, you know what? My son's made it.
Yeah,
I can stop working now. I can do this. Like, they can provide. But let's be honest, you get jacked
fuck, you think like You think if your kid sign an NRL contract, then he's not in the NRL squad? Well, you even get players in the NRL squad who get fuck all.
Yeah.
You know, or you get boys training in the NRL squad, and they're not making anything.
Yeah, that's that top like a top 30 contract.
Yeah, you ain't making anything unless you're in that top 25, top 30.
Yeah.
And you see, like, well, that's even more pressure on the kid because they're like, oh, my son's cracked it.
Yeah.
Can start paying bills.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So
I've seen quite a few families, and then I've seen them when their kid gets injured because the pressure that the family have put on them, like, you're a breadwinner now. You're getting jackal. You're a breadwinner now, and then you get injured, and then the pressures of trying to get back on the field. So you're trying to do everything and anything to get yourself back on the field. And you know sometimes you're not 100%. Yeah. But because there's pressure for you to play, pressure for you to perform, you're pushing yourself through stuff that I think, you know, is a bit too much for you because of the pressures that's happening outside. That's a pretty buzzy topic. We could probably go on a little bit more.
All day. We're gonna stop there. But yeah, I think like what we've said and that has been, I guess, shed a bit of light on that. And if you do listen and you do have a kid and you do feel like, I guess not if you feel like you're putting pressure, but I guess just step back and have a look on what your kid's doing in a week. Say if your kid's training 5 days a week and he's got to play and he or she's got to play a game on the weekend, and you know they're tired and sore from training all week, like maybe just relax a little bit.
If there's anything to take away from this topic, I think it's more just like you don't have to stop putting pressure on the kids. It's just the way you go about it, being more aware of how you're coming across, and like similarly to the bro that threw the intercept, it's just taking responsibility for that, how important you are in your kid's life. That's what we want.
Or even just talk to your kid.
Yeah. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like the parent, like maybe stepping back and maybe having a look at each situation is different. But I think also if you're a kid and you feeling like that pressure, like don't be scared to. It's easy for us to say. But, like speaking up about it. Also, or if you can't speak to your parents, speak to someone. Like, you know, don't carry that pressure by yourself.
Well, speak to their coaches or...
Yeah, exactly. Teammates. Again, just anyone that you feel safe to speak up with.
Be like the Palangi families, man. Relax. Nah. We'll move on to our next topic, and it's from a guy with the biggest ba'u in the 09. Freedom Vahaakolo.
Some handsome fella that knows.
Some foreskin. Relationships with our mums and how they share relationships with other women.
You can go first since you know the guy who sent it in.
Since you are the
I just thought this was a cool topic because I try to listen to podcasts and stuff, and I don't this is a topic that I have always been interested in but just don't see a lot of content on about. So I guess it was just interested to get thoughts from other people. I thought surely I'm not the only person who thinks about stuff like this. And you know, as you get older and if you're single and get into dating, you start to become more conscious of like the things that you do and maybe some of the toxic ways of thinking that you have, and some of the ways that you treat women might become exposed. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. And I've got a beautiful mum, so it doesn't, having a beautiful relationship with a mum doesn't always equate to having a beautiful relationship with a woman. So I thought it was an interesting topic.
You want to go first on it?
No, you go first.
Okay. For me, it's like the first thing that springs to mind is, which I find interesting, is like these days the idea of like gender roles is an interesting one, right? And then to further expand on that, I know like passionate feminists who are about not abiding by gender roles, but might be Christians and feel like the best thing they can give to their partner is to play a certain role. So I think the first thing that I think of when I think of like my mum is how passionate she is about women, but essentially what she gives to my dad, which is trust and his ability to make decisions for the family, which I think these days, the whole like the chats that I've heard dating and growing up is like men are trash and we don't need men and that's all stuff's all important. But I think when it comes to the way that I have viewed my parents' relationship, and the gender roles that they play and the way that they intertwine. I think that has a massive effect on my biases and the way that I see dating. And for me, it's been like, whilst I'm open, and I personally, like, I really want a woman who is capable and independent and we're able to complement each other, and like even to the degree where we're paying for the bills together.
Yep.
But like I've always felt alone in that way. Like I see traditional relationships, and it's like, as a man, no, I can't want us to find ways to intertwine. As a man, I have to be able to provide, and I'm only as valuable as what I can provide to her, and blah 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 blah. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think I'm the exact same as you. I'm more of that old school style. The gender roles type of relationship thing. I feel as a male, it's our job to go out and provide. I know that like the world has changed, and I know that the roles may have changed, or maybe not even changed. Like people have felt stronger to step out of the norm and go against the grain of, everyone's equal. I still believe everyone's equal, but for me personally, I just think from a relationship point of view, for me, I feel like as a male, like that's my job to go out and provide. Go to work, come home, bills, anything like that. That's my job to pay. You know what I mean? Put food on the table. Yeah. Obviously not cook.
And 2 minute noodles.
Well, it's Uncle Ronald McDonald's making dinner. But yeah, I'm more of the old school way where I believe the males go out and provide, obviously financially, and then again, I don't expect the woman to be like my wife to be at home like slaving around all day. If she wants to go work, then like she's more than welcome to. But for me, there's no pressure on her to go out and work. Yeah. Obviously, with how expensive New Zealand's becoming, I think it's more heading down that road where both have to work. But when my kids were young and growing up, I never forced my wife to go to work at all, and I couldn't care less. To be honest, I'd rather her stay home and look after my kids, so that my kids are brought up around a parent. Rather than school teacher or leaving them in daycare for the whole day while we're out at work. But again, that's only our situation. We had that opportunity, and we were lucky enough to be in a situation where just me working alone could provide and pay all the bills, also put food on the table and all of that carry on, which gave the opportunity for my wife to be home and looking after my kids. So each situation is different, but I'm like you, I'm more of the old style gender role where males provide.
Well, funny enough, I'm the same. I'm more of the old, obviously that old, and being raised, obviously my mum's a single mum in there, but you see other people and that's what they do too. Sort of raised around it. I was never raised with it, but I was raised around it. That old school love, and like what you said, the male goes out and works when I guess the mums that can stay home or female stay home and do what they do. But now this question sort of hit me a little bit, and I think my relationship with my mum, or not my relationship with my mum, but I guess this topic is probably the reason why I'm been single for so long.
Yeah.
Hard to find?
Yeah, hard to find. Yeah. Because I was raised by such a strong, independent, single mum. You see what they go through, being a single mum, and I've seen what things my mum has been through. And for me, I'm like, if I see that, I'd want sort of those values in the partner I find. Yeah. And I think, I've never taken anyone home to meet my mum. Because, well, let's just say, if you go home and meet my mum, you're a lucky girl.
You're getting a ring.
You're a lucky girl. But I've never taken someone home to think my mum, is because I look for I guess the qualities that and the love that my mum has shown me. Yeah. And yeah.
Without this sounding weird, do you think the qualities that your partner must have are same qualities as what your mum has?
See, this is what I was gonna ask.
Nah, not necessarily. It's just it's just saying my mum's loved me
Yeah.
like this, or not like this, but my mum's given me so much love. It's like, I need you to give me more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, like I've never taken someone home to meet my mum. I guess what I look for in a partner is like qualities of my mum, like strong, independent, all that stuff. But yeah, like I guess the relationship with my mum has affected, I guess, relationships with other girls.
Yeah.
Because like, if you're not independent and strong and that, like I don't want you, sort of thing. But yeah.
Hit it, Freedom. I know you got something.
Nah, I was like kind of similarly what you guys talking about. There's like two parts to this question. But the first part is like, when you think about your mum, you talk about like, being loved a certain way by your mum.
Yeah.
But I guess if you had to try and encompass words or emotions, what in terms of your guys' relationships with your mum, what are the situations or what things do you look to your mum for? So, for example, obviously with my father, for me, when I think about my father, what I look to him for is provision. As a son, I look for him for guidance, for wisdom, and I do those things with my mum. But specifically, like how to be a better man, my faith. Whereas my mum, like for me, my mum, I look for nurture. My mum, I might get emotional, but my mum has given me some of the most peaceful. She's given me senses of peace when I've been. Get away from me. Everyone get away from me. My mum's been peace for me. My mum's been domestic support. I don't know what the emotion tied up in that is, but when I've got 3 trainings in a 10-hour workday, and I come home for a feed boy, like that, to me, that stuff is all, really valuable. So I guess when you guys think about your relationships with your mum, what are the emotions that are tied up with that relationship? And how do you guys think, what you said, do you think that you are longing for those when it comes to in your relationships?
Yeah, I think it is. Like, obviously my mum's passed away, but the relationship that I had with my mum, because I was still young, and when I think about us two, like we've all come from like different relationships. Like obviously my mum's passed away, single mother and father. So for me, like I was young at the time, so I didn't really get to understand what it was like having my mum there. It's not so that now I'm a bit older and I understand like certain things, but again, I never got to feel that those emotions or those feelings because I lost my mum young. But when my mum was here, let's just say that I see a lot in my wife that my mother had, and some of the, like, without it sounding weird, like I think that like when you look for a partner, you sort of look for what your mum has.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was saying, but like not in a weird way.
Obviously not looks and
whatnot.
whatnot.
That makes sense.
I think it's more just like the attributes that they have. Like if your mum is like you said, independent, if she's strong, if you find someone out there that's independent and strong, I think you're drawn to that.
Absolutely.
That straight away. I think there's some stuff where, say for example, our mothers might not have, but also draw us in. Like it could be church. Like, I find it like stuff with my mum, I find, and like even though I was young, coming to think about like how my mum was growing up now, I find that it is what my wife has. She's like loving, look to her for like guidance. Same as what your mum does for your dad, like backs me in anything that I do. The one saying that she always says to me is like, I'm always in your corner. So like no matter what it is that I do, let's just take it. She said always in your corner. So this is this is a funny one. So when we moved back from Oz, I got a job doing construction, but I was like in the offices. So like I'd be on site. Of
course you went on the tools. Useless cunt.
I'd be on site, but I wasn't allowed to go on the tools. They wanted me to. I was the connection from the builders to us to the workers. So literally, I was looking after older dudes, dudes who are older than me, older island dudes. So for me, like, as a younger person, like if I go out and I see older island men, like automatically I think I should be doing that, like just out of respect. But that wasn't my role. So when I would go on the tools, I'd get told off by our regional boss that came. So a couple of times he had come and he had found me on the tools, but that was just me out of respect. So I just had enough. Like the money was good. I was getting like a car. I was getting phone, like everything, petrol card and everything. So like it wasn't any of that. the motivation for me to go to work just went away. So I said to my wife, I'm going to quit. She goes, oh, what do you mean? I said, I'm over this. Like, the money's not like driving me to go to work. Like, I got no drive to go to work. So she goes to me, okay, all good. As long as you have a plan, then I'll back you in whatever you do. Yeah. So she goes, do you have a plan? And I said, oh, no, not yet. I think I went to work for another week. And then in my mind, I wanted to go do videography. I wanted to do media. So I said to her, I'm quitting today. She goes, do you have a plan? I said, yeah, I got a plan. Yeah. Gee, literally, she goes, oh, good, I'll back you. I'll back you. Went and told the boss I quit. The boss was like, oh, what is it? You want more money? I said, no. It's none of that. No, nothing to do with money or anything. It's just no drive to come to work. So I literally quit and I had absolutely nothing to do. Like, I didn't know what I was doing and everything. And then I just so happened to sign up to this place where it was like a media school. I was getting jack money. Like, I was paying to go there. Yeah. I had no job. So I went and just found any job and every job. And I just like, I'm getting a job. I got a job. Like, and she just like 100% just said, yeah, all good. As long as you're happy and doing what you're doing. Yeah. For the whole time I just winged it.
That's what you got to do sometimes, eh?
Yeah. Like, and sometimes it's for your own happiness. So like, that's one thing that I've found with her is like always backed me in and giving me confidence in anything that I do. Yeah. So like just similar to what you were saying that your mum does for your dad. And yeah, that's what I find. If you find someone that's got the same attributes to your mother, I think it's a big tick.
Well, that's like me. What you said is like your mum brings you peace and stuff like that. That's like me as well. Like my mum is like my safe haven, or like a safe space for me. When it's a crazy world we live in. When you're at your mum's or with your mum, it's like peace. And then that's what I think I'm looking for. Yeah, is someone to come home to and just be like, I don't have to worry about anything. It's just home, and yeah, that's what I guess I look for because my mum's showing me so much love, and then you go home, or like I go up north, I'm at ease. I think, like I said, that's what I look for in someone, because, bro, like my life is fucking hectic, training and work and stuff like that. When you come home, you just
chill.
Yeah, want to not have to worry about anything else. Just be surrounded by, I guess, love.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing like a mother's love.
Exactly.
Like I look at like this little kid at the back here running around. Like,
come show your face on the camera. Come pop around and say hello.
Hurry up, come around the back here. Come around the back here. Like,
go pop in, go. Come to the front. Give them a wave.
Just give them a wave.
Yeah. Like honestly, like this kid, man. Like there's a father and son. Yeah. But there's nothing like a mother's love. Yeah. Bro, like, and we all know, like, bro, we, like you said, like we could be F the world. Yeah. But as soon as you see your mum, or like, like as soon as your mum gives you a hug, bro, it just feels like everything's all good. Yeah. You just feel safe. You just feel like at ease, at peace, and it's just all love.
Unless you do something real dumb. Cop the few of those in my time. Shit. Fuck, I've got some mean hidings here. Hey.
That's what shapes us to be. That's what shapes us to be.
But we're both single, by the way.
Hey,
you're complicated.
Wow. Yeah, it's complicated. The next question, the follow-up question would be like, and this, it might only have one word, but I guess when you're, you might be able to go back, think about, back what it was like when I was dating, but like, what happens when you're trying to get to know a girl, and for whatever reason, difference in personality or whatever, when you're looking for something in dating, and you might not be looking for anything, but how do you guys deal with when a girl or a woman isn't giving you the things that you actually are looking for, similarly to how it's developed from the relationship with your mum? So like, for example, with me, something that I'm trying to work on is if I feel like a girl is doesn't back me, is asking me, why aren't you spending time with me? Why do you have so much on? The whole like, if you wanted to, you would. If whenever I'm in a situation like that and I feel like I'm trying my best, and I feel like instead of giving me peace or giving me understanding like my mum would, I feel like I'm being disrupted and essentially asked to be someone that isn't who I am. My response is usually like avoidance or serial isolation, or like I almost start to feel like what have I done? Like, what did I see in this person? I start to almost doubt my own. So I guess what I'm getting you guys to reflect on is, how do you kind of behave? What are your reactions to being in situations with women, with wahine, where they're not favorable, and not the people, not the women themselves being unfavorable, but when you find yourself in a situation where an interaction isn't exactly, it's not giving you what you need, your needs aren't being met. How do you guys respond to that?
Let a boat.
I knew you would say that.
Of course,
I knew you would say that. Five men next.
Oh well.
It is what it is.
Oh, frick. That's a good question for me because it's been like 15 years.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. You might have to
question for me.
Yeah, I think it might be a question more for you, mate. Yeah, I think it might be a question more for you.
Hey, and if you don't know, that's what this podcast, that's what the segment is for.
That's
I don't know.
Actually, like when we said, a lot of us people need to admit when we don't know.
Yeah. This is an opportunity.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So say the question again.
When you're in a situation where you're trying to get to know a girl, you might be dating or whatever, and you find yourself in a situation where you're like, damn, this is not what I need right now.
This is not what I signed up for.
It doesn't necessarily mean you will just want to end things with her, but you're in a situation that might just be having a bad day. Where you're in a situation where you're like, man, she's not helping me right now. How do you deal with that? Usually, is the question.
I'll give you like ways I do to like say, this is not gonna
strap on your seatbelt.
This is not gonna like.
Or what I was going to say is, do you like, when you are trying to communicate your feelings, do you like jazzify it up or like try to make it sound nicer than it is? Because this is something that I'm trying to work on. I've been brutally honest and it can be like a kill buzz.
See, I'm not brutally honest. I got a heart. Nah.
Wow.
Nah, see with me is like, I'm a real bad communicator.
Right.
But that's just because I'm in La La Land. Life is so busy. But I'm a real bad communicator where it's like, because you know how girls sometimes like, the old thing where, I don't like texting first or something like that.
Yeah. I don't get this stuff.
If you do that, I'm not going to text first. And then we'll be like to the thing where
no one's texting anyone.
Yeah.
No one's texting anyone. And it's been like 3-4 weeks. And then she's like, what's going on? And I'm like,
you didn't message.
Yeah, you found men or like we haven't seen each other but yeah, I'll go to the like, be a real bad communicator and like I just won't talk.
Yeah, okay.
Or I won't come see you, or it will just be like complete shut off. Or I'll do the old I think I just need to start focusing on myself and got a lot of league and stuff coming on and I just can't give you the time. And that old chestnut.
The whole the old it's not you, it's me. Yeah, right. All right.
So you're a bit of a like not.
Bro, I've been, because my mom is like, this is one thing I love about my mom is and she has told us that she's had to like hold back, but my mom's in my eyes, I wouldn't say brutally honest, but you know she is honest and will tell you yeah. So what I equate honesty with is I see them as love. So when I'm honest with a girl, even if it's like real harsh, like I've actually got a nice intention behind it because of how I associate honesty in my own family.
Well, it's really like, do you want me to be honest to you or?
Yeah, and I guess, you know, I was especially, you know, going to mostly it's like single sex schools, I was a late bloomer, I guess, when it comes to like social cues and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm still definitely working on it. But I've been in situations where, you know, I'll tell a girl like brutal honesty. This is what I'm dealing with. This is how I'm feeling. Because I know that I've been told that they want that.
Yeah.
I wanna know what you're going through. And then I feel like when I communicate it, I feel like I'm now having to also comfort them.
Because of what you said.
Yeah, because of what I said. So I struggle in that area. And then I think that's why sometimes, specifically if it's in the early stages of trying to get to know someone, I'd rather just avoid the situation because I don't want to create another stressful problem that I have to solve. I feel like I already got a lot of things that I have to try to figure out from a day-to-day basis with training and work. So it's like, why create more issues for myself that I don't even have the answers to?
And
I think that's why I wanted to raise it, because like I'm open to other ways of dealing with it and what other people think.
I think speaking from my point of view of things is like, I'm a bad communicator too. And like you said, like I think they want communication. But again, sometimes I don't know. It's dependent on the person, on how they receive communication. Sometimes like or it could be something as simple as like, how are you, or I'm okay, or like something as simple as that, or it could be like got to hear from you every second of the day type of thing. But I'm like him. I'm a bad communicator. I'm starting to learn at the moment about how to like communicating now. Especially about emotions. I'm more of the type like you know how you said you can speak about emotions and be totally honest. For me, speaking on emotions, or like I'm more worried about other people's emotions, because like say for example, if I was had to cut someone like from a team, bro, that's like, you know, I'm thinking about them and how they're gonna take it. So like I'll try like make it nice.
So in other words, you two are nice and I'm selfish.
No,
it's not selfish.
I know what you I got what you mean.
I think I think we're just
honesty.
more I think I'd rather be more like you.
Yeah.
But I think just the person that I am is just like I hate hurting other people's feelings. So I won't tell them exactly how it is. I'm more of the like try talk it down so it's not bad.
And
that's just me as a person, because I'm always worried about like I'm always caring about other people's feelings, and I hate when like someone gets hurt, or I hate like, you know, like someone like receives bad news or something like that. Like I just hate seeing people like down.
Well, it's like what you said. Like they say they want to hear it, but they don't really. You know what I mean? Like I think for us, you're just a piece of shit. Eh? We got a heart. Nah, but like what he said is like we don't want to hurt. Like our intentions aren't to hurt anyone. It's just we don't know how to, I guess, communicate.
Totally, like brutally honest.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I see what you're saying, because when you speak it, that's coming from a place of love. But like sometimes, like they say, like the truth hurts. Like when you speak to someone and tell them like directly, it's like hard for people. It's like a slap in the face type of thing. Like it wakes you up. But it's something that you may have needed. So I understand where you're coming from.
Don't get me wrong though. I've got the old I need to focus on myself ones myself.
Or what is your guys like? Also, I'm way of time. Sorry, just stop me if I'm going to babbling. But like, what's your guys? How would you guys, if you guys care more about how they feel, which to be honest kind of aligns with the traditional gender roles of like, I guess, putting your emotional needs and blah 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 to provide for the family. How do you deal with it when a woman communicates that they're upset with you, or that you're not fulfilling? I mean, you might not have had these conversations. I don't know, but how do you guys think you would deal with that when you're in those type of situations? Would it be similar?
I can.
Where you just wouldn't want to communicate.
I can talk about that, because I think it was just before my grandfather died. Like before my grandfather died, my perspective of life was like I'm someone that likes to help anyone and everyone. And I was doing that, like I was giving all my energy, emptying my cup to all different people in my life. And then when I came home, giving my time and energy to my family, I had none. I had absolutely none, especially to the people like my family, including like my wife and kids, and just my immediate family and everything. Like I had no time and energy to give, because I was too busy giving it to everyone else. So after I think I've already spoken on this quite a bit. As after my grandfather died, I realized that the people that are here and my grandfather like helping out, and the people that have messaged through, those are the people that I want to give my time and energy to. So what I've done, I've like cut ties with a lot of people that I used to give my time and energy to, so that now I can focus my time and energy onto like certain things. So like now I feel like, because before I was not giving time and energy to my wife and kids and whatnot, like I felt like our communication wasn't as good. I felt like our relationship, my relationship and everything with my wife and kids was always determined on what I done. But now it's totally opposite. Like I feel like, because I've got so much time and energy for my wife and kids and whatnot, and the people that I love, like you boys and like all my close boys, Ads and all of them, like I feel like that my cup's always full.
Yeah.
And I feel like now that I can give my time and energy, I feel like my relationships with everyone, like, you know, even all of us boys is gone to another level.
Yeah.
Just because of how much time and energy now I've got for people that really mean something to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like like that sort of stuff.
So are you saying that you're able to deal with those situations better because you feel like life's more balanced? You found a better balance for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And more balance. Plus, it's where I want to put my time and energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before I didn't have time and energy to give for like relationships, like with like my kids, like my family, and my wife and kids, and that and then when they wanted that time and energy, I didn't have any to give. So like, you know, our relationship wasn't as balanced, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now that I've got all the time and energy, I can give it as much as I want, and that filters out to you boys. Like, you know, like it's all my boys. That's my family and everything. So just all the relationships that I want it to filter out to. I've got enough to filter out to all the people that really mean something to me, rather than those people that don't reciprocate that in return.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard.
So that's
What about yours?
Bro, I forgot the question.
When
still in la la land.
when you're in a situation where you know, girl's communicating that she's upset or that you're not fulfilling one of her needs, you know, how do you deal with that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm much like before, like bad communicator. So I guess I'll try, and if it's still not work, like because I'm like him, I'll I guess try to fill everyone else's cup before my own. And it wasn't until he brought it up like a while ago. I go, oh, do you still like hear from Datara? And he's like, nah, cut them. They don't fill my cup, not filling theirs. So for me, I'm like I guess I'm learning to be a bit better. And if you fill my cup, I'll help you fill yours. So I guess, but nah, like I'm like, I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's
know.
helpful, bro. I love, I expected to hear like real interesting answers, which I have heard, because this is a topic, man, like I don't really hear a lot of people talking about.
What do you? What do you do?
Bro, so I would say that I've got definitely ways to go about things, but in both areas I feel like I'm a good communicator, but something that I think about all the time is people deal with things the way that they're conditioned to deal with them. So this is not really my place to say, but like I've been with some strong women who you know, might not necessarily have great relationships with their father or like their brothers, or where the sexual abuse statistics in New Zealand is like, you know how we're talking about Sound of Freedom, and like how like movies and when a statistic hits you so hard that you're like, damn, I've been so ignorant. I think all of these things are important to understand, but like when I think about it, one thing that I will acknowledge is like I communicate too harshly, and I used to blame like, well, you know, life's been hard, sometimes been hard for me. Like I've just had to take it on the chin, but at the end of the day, I can't push that onto other people. So I think that's something that I'm trying to work on. But I would consider myself a good communicator in terms of like I'm really aware of my emotions or what I'm feeling, or like something that I suck at is I hate. I don't like girls getting me anything like gifts, or like I've never. Can I say never? Maybe like once or twice I've let a girl like pay half or pay their share, but the bad thing about that is I always end up being broke.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword, but I try to communicate, and I'm really good at like expressing my emotions. But bro, something that I've found is it can scare people off, specifically if they don't have relationships with their father or their friends where they do that. Like I always find interesting hearing like, I want emotional intelligence, and then you get to know them, and like, you know, said respectfully or disrespectfully, they don't even have that in their friendships. And it's like, well, why do you want something you don't really know much about or have a lot of experience with? And it's just one of those situations where everyone has different perspectives. But I've got ways to go, bro. I feel like I'm a good communicator, but my delivery needs a lot of work. And I think to be loving and to be caring is to care about the delivery of your words.
The delivery is the most important.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment. Anyway.
But in a way, it's just you being yourself.
Yeah, you gotta, like he said, you gotta find the balance.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I'm trying to work on is, I don't want to be an asshole, but I also want to keep absolutely real. There's been times where like I've been in situations where I'm really attracted to them, but like they might not be able to fulfill, they might not be able to talk about their emotions or like their dreams and goals, which is extremely important to me. And that's where communication and being able to deal with those situations is important, but not always something that we talk about as men and as brothers, especially in New Zealand where like everything is about being chill and, not being too serious, I guess. So, that's kind of how I deal with it. If that makes sense.
That's just you being you.
Yeah.
And again, like you're always gonna come across all sorts of people. So I guess like as long as you know who you are and you're true to who you are, sometimes it's gonna be hard. Like when you said, sometimes people give the right message, but it's the wrong delivery.
Yeah, hard.
And like I was just saying when you're talking, like the delivery is everything. It could be a kind message, but you could deliver it in a strong tone or whatever, and people could take it wrong just because the way it's delivered. So I feel like the delivery of a message is just as important as the message itself.
Yeah. It's the old saying, like, people don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel. And that's something that's stuck with me and something that I've really had to look at in this current season of growth and development, because I think I've just been just too half-assed about it. Really. So this is a good opportunity to do that. I guess flipping this conversation I said and talking about something probably more on the surface is like, what's your guys, we've talked about it briefly on the podcast, but like what's your guys' thoughts on, we talked about gender roles, but like girls paying on first dates, also like girls initiating things like first kisses, girls doing things for their mans. What are your thoughts on that stuff?
Next thing is going to be girls proposing to their man.
Probably.
Holy.
Yeah.
You go first. We'll let them go first.
Let me get into this. Let me ask you two the question.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on it? Like,
I've got what I deeply desire, and I've got what I do, and they're opposite, because I've got some trust issues that I need to get over, and I think I don't ever want a girl to like point the finger at me or like, bro, girls talk in group chats, guys talk in group chats, bro. This is why I love this podcast. I can just say stuff and not feel bad, like I feel like I'm going to cancel or whatever. I can just complain. So like one thing that I never want to do is like, I'm an independent woman, and then I love that, and then let's say you split the bill. I don't want to be like on social media the next day, some screenshot or something, or being being passed around the friendship group that.
Freedom doesn't pay.
Yeah, or like he's an incapable man. So, I've that's come from an experience I've had when I was younger. So I've had to get over that. But
what's your thoughts? Are you paying or not paying? Who pays? Who pays?
I don't like them paying.
Yeah,
I always pay. I've said I've 99% of the time always paid everything in full.
You?
Yeah, I'll pay.
You believe that the male should pay?
Yeah. Well, then I do believe, but then I heard a thing like I think it was like an interview, and they may have asked 50 Cent, who pays for the first date? And then he says, the one who wanted to go on the date.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
But like, that has a bit of like truth. But like, as a male, I feel like you should pay.
That comes down to, as a male, like we feel as providers?
Yeah. It's a pride thing. Like,
sorry.
No, that's right. Okay.
No, I was just asking, are you asking what we want or what we do?
No, like, what do you believe? Like, do you believe the male should pay?
I have to change my answer then.
Okay. Do you believe the male should pay or the female?
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that I'm gonna make it real complicated. I believe that it should, whatever works for the couple should be able to work, but it has to be healthy. And currently I don't have a healthy relationship with that. So I pay out of pride and stubbornness. Yeah.
Yeah, I pay. Like I'm the same.
And do you want to always do that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, I guess as you get like more into the relationship.
Yeah.
Well, like for me, like if
a first date.
Say I take a girl on a date and she goes, and I go, oh no, I'll pay. But if the thought's there and she goes, oh no, I'll pay, or I'll split the bill with you.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm putting a ring on your finger, girl. Shit. Don't be the one that goes, oh, you gonna pay? Don't be that girl. Fuck.
Yeah.
But like I've been on dates and then and I've been like, oh, I'll get paid for the bill, or it comes to paying, and I go, no, I got it. If she doesn't, if she goes, no, I'll pay for it, or no, we can split it, or I can pay for my own, and it's like, oh yeah, like she She's not just here for the free
So
feed.
what you're saying is, as long as she offers, you're okay of paying.
Well, I'll pay, but I think
Acknowledgement.
I'll
Yeah,
acknowledge that if you thought about it,
Yeah.
you know.
Like you just don't want someone to sit there and expect you to get up and go
Yeah.
pay. As
Like,
long
fuck, it's hard to earn money. Like,
Yeah.
I work hard for my money, girl. You never know. The dates might not go on, you know.
because like you got to think about it, like it's a first date, right?
Yeah.
So you might not know too much about each other. So when you go out, are you cutting that awkwardness out and going to pay?
Nah, so one thing I always do, and I do it with you boys,
Yeah.
is I'll say I'm going to the toilet,
Yeah.
and I always just go pay, because I want to cut out the awkwardness.
Me and you always have those battles.
But it's like all of us. Though. It was like even when we go to coffee,
Yeah.
you'll be like, "I'll get it."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
we know
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
pick it up.
Yeah,
the
hard.
next time.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
Whereas
Oh,
like
yeah, sweet.
with a girl, there's not, well, it's just because it's not a common thing where they would
Yeah.
get it. So
And the thing is, we're not shy to like, well, no, we'll split it if the bill's big. Nah, split it.
you know what buzzes me out is like I imagine there's girls out there who like couldn't physically be able to pay for it, even if they had to pay their half, but they'll still go out to town and still go out on dates with no money.
Bro, girls are
That
smart,
blows
bro.
my mind, G.
Well, I'll tell you what, girls will go out to town and spend no money.
Because I won't even reply if I don't have money.
Girls go out to town with no money.
That's crazy.
And
to
they
me.
could be stumbling
Bro, that's
home.
crazy to me.
I'm exactly like you. Like if I don't have money,
Yeah.
you'll never see me
Yeah,
go out.
absolutely
Right,
not.
exactly.
Like I wouldn't even go to feeds. Like I wouldn't even come to shisha or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bother getting dressed if I had no money. Like
Yeah.
I'm that type of person that if I can't pay for anything, I'm staying
Yeah,
home.
absolutely.
I'll make an excuse. Oh no, I'm tired or whatever. But like yeah, I feel like us as males, like me personally, I feel like the male should always pay first, just to cut out. I wouldn't say cut out the awkwardness, but just as a male. But then again, I get what you said about like whoever initiated the date
Yeah.
should pay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. But
Uh,
here's a question. Did you pay for your first date with Chus?
Here we go.
Cut.
I paid for the gas.
We're gonna have to
paid for the gas.
I have to
I paid for
bring
the gas.
Chus in to explain this one. Shit.
I paid for the gas. That's all that matters.
Give us a little. Tell us what happened.
Bro, this has me dead.
Yeah, you already know what happened. I went and picked her up from work at the time, and we went to the petrol station. I think we went because we were going to Mission Beach.
Yeah.
This is back in the days when you couldn't go anywhere, really. So we went to Mission Beach and then went into the gas station. I stopped and I asked her, "Oh, do you want anything?" She came in. She goes, "Oh, yeah, whatever." Came inside. She didn't even end up getting anything. Then I put all the stuff on the table on the cashier. She paid, and I was just like, "Oh, thanks."
15 years later,
Don't lie. You
she's
went.
still
Oh,
here.
can
Charles,
you
you're
get
a
it?
real one.
Hey, don't lie. He said, "Oh, can you get it?"
Actually, I don't think I had the balls to even say that, but I hope I didn't.
If he did, bro, and she said that.
But yeah, frick. Yeah, I truly going against the grain. I think just the first date, I reckon Romeo should pay, and then by that time you'd get to know what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah,
I think even like for us, like that's something that we need to maybe stop doing.
Yeah,
like
probably.
Yeah,
Wow.
like when it's big bills, like you know how big bills we all just go, we try to pay ourselves, like pay for it all, like we always pay for it ourselves. I think like because we're all in different situations, I think like if we just split it, especially when we go to shisha and whatnot,
Yeah.
like, no point taking on that big bill by yourself.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that actually. not because I want to stop it, but like if I can't sit here and complain about struggling with this issue with women, and then it perpetuates in my own friendships with males. So I can't be complaining about it and also wanting to keep doing it.
Like going off the back of like paying for first dates and that. Bro, take it to somewhere cheap, bro. Somewhere cheap, man.
Yeah, I'll acknowledge I haven't been the smartest about.
My bro's going to the eight.
Yeah, I'm going to restaurants and shit. Yeah,
My bro's going to the
You
eight.
know,
Shit.
if you're taking them on the first date and you're going like you're setting the bar up here,
it's
Fuck,
it's
then
silly.
you're always gonna have to keep going there,
I
right?
know, I know. I've learned it the hard
Know
way.
what I mean?
Jeez.
what I reckon is first date should always be never fancy. I don't reckon. I think like somewhere where it's chilled.
Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect first date then.
yeah,
Perfect first date. What is your guys' perfect first date?
bro. If I just think about me and Charles now, bro, we would go to like somewhere cheap as chips. Like we still go on like dates now, and like we have opportunities to go to like fancy places, but
Mm.
you already know when you go to a fancy place, you're paying X amount of dollars and you're not even getting full.
Yeah.
You end up going to McDonald's fucking straight
Bro,
after.
hard.
I think for me, like as long as they got good food
Mm.
and the prices are good, I think it's more about the getting to know one another more than anything else. Obviously, the food's got to be good as well, because if the food's not good, that will overtake the whole experience.
You know, like for me, like I couldn't think of anything worse than going to a restaurant on a first date and just having to sit there
Bro, it's
and
interviewing.
talk for
It's
like
yuck.
exactly. That's why I
Yeah.
never fucking do it.
That's why I say like and it's not being like a cheap ass or anything. It's more you're more there to get to know the person rather than trying to impress the person, right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
I think that now. I think I haven't thought that in the past. I think I've been insecure
Yeah.
and wanted to present that I'm more capable than I am at the time.
And,
So-
and I feel like if they can't appreciate you for who you are,
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not the person.
Probably not the person. Ideal first date then?
Well, you already know. We're going to
Holy
holy
mollies.
moly. We're going
There
to
it
play
is.
pool or
commercial bay.
and then we're going to dinner. So you gotta think these things through, man. Nah, that's why I'm still single. Nah, like do an activity. Then I guess if you do an activity, you sort of it's a bit of laugh, bit of banter, bit of competitiveness.
Yeah.
And it's sort of breaking the ice. Whereas if you have to go to a restaurant and sit there and hi, oh, what do you do for work? Like boring old shit.
Yeah.
And then so I guess the ideal for me is like go do an activity, whether it's bowling, mini golf, whatever, do something fun and then go have a feed afterwards. And then back to the route. What's your ideal one?
What's your ideal?
Well, yeah, as I've said, I've definitely stopped doing like restaurants and anything that's like just awkward.
Where's the
Yeah, where's the what?
stars did not align.
Yeah, they didn't align, all right. I didn't learn anything about star signs. I still don't know why that's an important question for me.
Where's like the most, I guess, like, or here's a question: what's the like most expensive bill you've had to pay for,
Bro,
like at dinner?
this is so, bro. When I think about it, it makes me cringe, bro. Makes me cringe that I was like this. One thing they never say is that I didn't put my weight though, so that's one thing I'm proud about. But I'd say maybe like $400 or $500.
What?
Yeah, it's terrible, bro. Terrible.
Shit.
Can I just keep in mind? Can I keep in mind? This might not have been a first date. It was like a second or third. And bro, can I just say this? Insecure as I was dealing with well, wish her all the best as well.
Yeah.
I was dealing with a woman who her father's multi-millionaire. Had everything her whole life, and I just tried to compete with that. I don't know what I was thinking, but it is
I'm
what it
disappointed
is.
in
Yeah,
you.
I know. That's what makes me-
$500.
Bro, that's bad.
Where
Yeah,
did you
it was
go?
bad.
Where did you go?
We went to 8.
Again?
It wasn't called. Nah, shush. We went to 8, and then we went to an activity like a wine tasting thing after that, which was
Oh, did you
dumb
fly on
of
the
me.
helicopter too? Shit.
Bro, it was dumb. And what's crazy is like, bro, I didn't even enjoy myself. That's the worst part. I didn't even enjoy myself. I was like, what am I doing? But hey, you live and learn. Live and learn.
You do live in
Live and learn.
That's a big learn.
At the time, that was like 2 weeks worth of like work as well. Straight up. It was like, what am I doing? What an idiot.
Fuck, what an idiot, right?
Yeah, hey, live and learn.
What's
Live and learn.
Here's I think how long do you guys have before you have that first date? Like, if you meet them, like how long are you talking to them, or how long are you like hanging out before you go on your actual first date?
You want me to go first?
Yeah. You just, I don't know, like it's a bit.
Do you have like a timeline, or do you just go off the flow of like the
Yeah,
vibe?
just go off the flow. Like, if like say like you're talking or talking like say every day or something, and I guess maybe like a week or two. Whereas if it's on and off, like I don't know, it's a tricky one. I guess you can sort of feel when the time's right to say, hey, let's go on a date or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know like how long I'd wait. I guess I'll just wait for like the sign to go green.
What about you, my friend?
It depends. I'm drawn to energy. So like if I know of like when you first meet someone like energy is like flowing, I try to make the most I try to do it quickly because first impressions fade
Yeah.
real quickly. So if you have a great, meet someone for the first time and everything's flowing. If you don't meet up for like a month, I feel like it's gone.
Opportunity.
So it depends on the way the interaction goes. If it's chiller, then I feel, you can kind of drag time out. But I kind of just, that's the way I approach anything. And also, obviously, depends on if I have money or not. So if I've had a great interaction with someone, and I'm like, damn, I'm broke, and I know I'm gonna be broke for, let's just say, this month. I'm like, oh well, missed opportunity.
How's it
I don't even try.
I've had that old what are you up to? Like, what are you up to tonight? We should catch up, hang out. Got no money. Oh no, I got training on.
I got
tonight.
something on. I gotta do that
Sorry.
thing at home. I gotta do my washing.
Maybe next week on PD.
Yeah.
Fuck, we went from fucking relationships from our mothers to first dates.
Yo.
Are you kissing on the first date?
Bro, I've one thing I can say, hand on heart, is there's only ever been one time I've kissed on the first date, and it got me by surprise because she initiated it.
Hey.
So I can personally say I haven't really had the courage to ever kiss on a first date. I can't put my hand and say that. Brotherhood.
What about you?
Oh, I've had a one night stand, so maybe it doesn't count. But yeah, no.
True.
But on a date, like a formal date, I've never kissed on the first date.
Yeah. Have you kissed on the first formal
Yeah,
first
I
date?
have on the first date.
Are you about it or not about
Okay,
it?
fuck, if you want to look lips, let's look lips. Nah.
Bro, what a hooah.
Nah, like...
Anything with a heartbeat.
Nah, I have initiated it.
Yeah.
Or like, I have initiated someone, and it feels mean when they initiate it first too.
Yeah.
But like, I have. And, yeah.
Be honest here. Have you ever initiated and you went, nah?
Yeah.
See, that's one thing I'm proud of. Never happened to me.
Oh.
What happened exactly? How did that go? Talk me through that.
Did that ruin the second one? Talk us through.
And this is all for today's show. Fuck. Nah,
That's good, bro.
Hey,
you win some, you lose some.
vulnerability. There you go.
Yeah, well, you should have seen what happened on the second date. Fuck. Nah.
So there was a second date. Not with that one.
Yeah, there was a second date. Nah, I went to like say goodbye.
Yeah.
And then like I felt like you can feel the vibe. But I felt the vibe, and I just went to go in, and she goes, "Oh." Ooh.
And what did you do?
Oh, yeah. See you later.
Oh,
she
that's
goes,
good.
She goes, "Oh, that was a bit awkward." Oh well.
Bro, I'd
It
go
is
red
what
in
it
that situation,
was.
bro. I'd blush harder if that happened to me.
Oh,
Damn.
bro, my mana just went fucking 100 to 0, bro. Fucking hell.
Damn.
Felt like a little kid.
Hey, oh well, that is what it is. And that's the vulnerability that we put ourselves through.
Hey, you win some, you lose some.
On the podcast here.
Hey, at least you haven't spent $400 or $500. You're good.
Fuck, I'm going to rip and tear you,
Ah,
bro. I'm
oh
just.
well.
Can you spend $400 or $500 on us tonight?
Shush.
Dinner? What are you taking us to eat?
Oh, bro, I
Wine
cringe.
tour?
I cringe when I think about that. But hey,
Hey,
we on.
it is what it is.
We are.
Anyways.
What? We wrapping it up there?
Yeah. Well, how long?
We've gone for an hour and a half, but that started recording a little bit early.
We don't really want to be going for 2 hours, do we?
Fair enough. So what? We'll wrap
Anyways, we'll wrap it up there.
it up. Again, man. Like it's again, you've heard us boys speaking. Make ourselves vulnerable, even if it is going for kiss. Get the old shoulder hug.
Shut up. At least I didn't make someone else pay for the first day.
Nah, but again, we'll this is our very first one, so we will do many more of these.
Yeah.
We'll try to do it every month at least, and we'll get more topics again that we can speak on in regards to people sending them in.
Yeah, that's just our take on it. You can either DM us or let us know what your guys' perspective is, or hit us with a message. But yeah, we'll definitely drop another, I guess, question box on some more topics that you want to hear us talk about. We still got a few that we have from other people that
there's quite a few.
that will probably talk about as well. So,
Docs,
yeah.
anything to say?
Nah, just
Don't go to 8.
yeah, don't go to 8, guys. Don't
Activities
don't
and
go take her for ice cream first date. That's my advice.
No, thank you very much, boys. Appreciate your guys' time. Again, we'll do that chat time of the month come next month, and hopefully we get some more topics to
Let's
chat
go.
about. Thank you, brothers.
My man.
Put that on that beat. Ho.